Okay. I'll call the meeting to order. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Historic Resources Commission of the City of Albany. And we certainly welcome those viewing on YouTube. And we will accept comments, and we would request that the individual making the comment identify themselves and keep their comment to the matter at hand under the purview of the commission, as well as in the interest of time, keep their comment limited to a 3-minute duration. In attendance this evening, we have myself, John Myers, the chair of the commission, Commissioner Pinckney, Commissioner Garrity, and Commissioner Hacker, and Aaron Glennon from the planning office representing the commission's interests. We have one, this is a public hearing, and a quorum is required to make a decision for our public hearing. So I do declare we have a quorum with 4 members present, and we can proceed with the discussion. The first item, the only item on the agenda this evening is 1 Steuben Street from Redburn Development in the downtown Albany Historic District. And this is an application to install a fabric canopy or fabric covered awning to provide protected outdoor seating for this venue. Is there anyone here to represent the applicant? Okay.
What's the skinny pancake?
Skinny Pancakes are crepe brew. They make skinny pancakes.
Really thin ones.
Yeah,
Real good.
but they also have burgers and beer
Oh, okay.
and French fries. So good evening to the commission. I assume this is similar to planning board style, where I kind of give a quick overview and then we do some back and forth. Okay, great.
You just identify yourself.
Sure. So my name is Joe Pernicero.
Sorry.
That's a bad omen.
Yeah, right. What is that?
I think it's our security alarm. I'm not.
There's never a dull moment.
I think
The strobes will be blinking. Well, that's on my car. Momentarily interrupting the meeting.
Yeah, if we start seeing smoke billowing, we should probably go.
You do exactly what we do, we're like, does anybody know what's going on in the building?
until it's too late, we don't know what happened.
If it's a fire alarm, there's usually a voice command. You have to evacuate the building.
Oh, ours don't do, there's
They
some,
don't do that?
they don't do that now. But. It's so strange.
We'll get the rhythm going.
Yeah, keeping time.
We start with quiet with no audience, obviously, something felt we need to spice it up.
Somebody may have something against your,
Yeah, it's maybe sabotage.
Don't start until you smoke.
I know. This would certainly be a new tactic.
So you think it might be the security system?
No, there's, it's definitely the fire alarm.
I'm gonna call Andy and June.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good. Call somebody.
Is it connected to the fire department? Will they just show up then?
No, I don't think they are. I don't know that they are. They've gone off before and the fire department has never tried.
We learned that the hard way at
That's
Barbie,
true.
some systems
But
are
wait for a
hardwired.
while.
Oh, they are?
Some are. Yeah, we set off one of the artists during the build 2 years ago. That was awesome. Don't throw frat parties.
Alright.
But yeah, why did it go off in the first place? Maybe it's good to come and figure it out. What did you do?
Salt tank.
No, I'm just kidding. We're just trying to figure out what's going on with this alarm.
Did it just start going up?
It,
As I started.
Joe literally started to speak and they went,
Alright, so I didn't.
No, you didn't miss much.
I'm sorry that I'm late. I had a work phone call that I couldn't get out of.
Stop talking.
I think joining us in the attendees is Commissioner Tobin at 6:10 p.m.
I think Joe,
So,
if you
up to you
want
guys, I can speak
consider-
loudly and
Go for
keep
it.
going, okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Joe Franchero, I work for Redburn Development, on the development team over there. I'm here tonight on behalf of one of our commercial tenants down at the Kenmore building, the Skinny Pancake, which is actually the Steuben portion of the building, around the corner of the Steuben alleyway in North Pearl. They are a Vermont-based creperie, so crepes, they also have burgers and some other things. This was their first location outside of Vermont. They've been there probably a couple of years now. Very successful, one of our most successful restaurants downtown. We're very proud to have them in our building. This all started, they faced the issue, they don't have any sort of windbreak on their building. So during the winter, when you open up the door, it gets quite cold there on the main entrance. They also have outdoor seating on the existing patio there. And conversely, in the summer, you're just standing there right in the beaten sun and it gets quite hot. So they're looking to have two things done. A third thing, which I think is more minor. First is the vestibule under that existing overhang. And that would be attached right to an existing storefront metal assembly. It would not interfere with the historic masonry at all. And then to the left of that is the canopy, which would be on galvanized steel and then the fabric to match the existing. And that would be adhered to the building. We are still looking into that internally. Obviously, we obtained historic tax rates to do this project. So that portion of the project on how it's actually adhered to, we are still investigating. And then the third portion, which I think is a more minor item, is on the front of the Steuben building. There is the old canopies from, if you remember, the Pearl Street Pub was here. They were just never taken down, and we'd like to remove them. That is third request as part of this. Happy to answer any questions. I think I've given the overview.
That 102 inches, that's an existing canopy, am I correct?
Correct.
Awning.
Yes, it's just the canopy and then the door right into the restaurant.
Okay,
They're
so,
looking to build a small vestibule that extends out from underneath the canopy. It's a windbreak, so you first enter into there and then into the restaurant.
okay, so all you're doing is, for that 102-inch section, is to remove the existing and put that new awning.
No, so the,
'Cause there's already an awning there.
where the windbreak is, this awning is existing and will be retained. So
Oh, okay.
it'll be staying, so what
Okay.
Joe is saying that the windbreak, the wall system is going to be anchored to the metal framing of the awning.
Okay, so
and
you really can't, it's hard to figure that out, this windbreak. So it's actually a screen.
It's a vestibule, right? It's
Okay.
a built-out vestibule from the existing.
All right, so it's built out.
Yep.
So it's rigid metal panels covered with canvas and like the plastic, the gray area, they're like plastic window areas.
Because it just looks like it's flush with the facade,
This is
the way this.
it's a
okay.
rendering, it's not totally accurate.
So will it come down in the
Perhaps
summer?
that's a plan view.
Yeah,
So this would not come down during the summer. This would, they could certainly prop the door open. It would be semi-permanent. It would be permanent.
You have any elevations, like a side elevation or a front elevation, other than that image?
Not that we submitted, I don't believe so.
So we really don't know what it looks
Will
like
there
on the
be
side.
transparent panels in the
Yes.
side?
Yep.
As well,
Mhm.
going back to the building?
It was described in the specifications in the packet.
Yeah. I figured it out over here.
And I don't know if did we submit an example from Nicole's? No, it's a different area of the city.
From I don't believe,
Okay,
I don't remember seeing that in the packet.
okay.
where was it from?
Nicole's on Delaware Ave,
Oh.
different part of the city, but they have something very similar.
Oh. Well, we might be able to bring it up on Street View.
And the canopy covering the seating area is not seasonal, that would be up all the time.
And you haven't figured out how you're anchoring that to the building?
Not exactly. What we typically do in these situations is, try to avoid going into the stone itself and looking to go under the mortar. We obviously, we've done many historic buildings, we hear signs and stuff all the time, so, we have an idea of how we're gonna do it, but,
Yeah, the stones are staggered, yeah.
correct.
The joints are staggered all
Yeah.
over the place.
It may end up, and maybe this is a sort of compromise, maybe it doesn't adhere to the building at all, and it's just a self-standing, with, I think 4 legs. That way we're not adhering to the stone at all. That is certainly an option.
So you'd have legs at the face of the building.
Correct, sort of right up against the side of the building. But they wouldn't, it would just go straight to the ground.
Yeah.
Set back from Pearl Street though, right? It wouldn't be up against the Pearl Street side, this is up against.
No, it's set back a few feet.
Yeah. And other than making sure that it adheres to the building, that those anchors go into the mortar joints, you're really not affecting the building at all. You can take it off at any time and
Oh, yeah,
the building is,
right, yeah. So-
and the entry vestibule is a purely aesthetic thing where
Correct, and,
You can
that would
remove
be
it
affixed
and-
to an existing modern steel frame storefront assembly.
But basically, everything you're doing is fully reversible.
Correct.
The building
Yeah.
is exposed again.
And then you're replacing the awnings on Pearl Street.
So those would just come down and there'd be no more awnings.
Oh, no awnings at all on Pearl Street?
Nope.
No, are they anchored into the stone on Pearl Street?
The existing awnings?
Yeah.
You know what, I do not know that answer. I would have to go down and look. I do not.
Any patching that might ensue, you have to, obviously, you're usually dealing with historic buildings, but done properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if any surprises emerge that you need any guidance from the commission, notify Aaron. And then, we can be brought in to weigh in on it.
I'm trying to visualize how this
Here, let me,
bump out thing is gonna be. So the sides are clear?
yes.
They have clear panels.
They would have
Kinda like what
the
you see
black
right
frame that you see there with the large transparent.
So this is, Nicole's is obviously, it's not brand new, it's aged a bit, but theirs may be made out of wood. But it gives you an
Okay.
idea.
We'll
Yeah, it's
see
a,
that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't Cafe Italia have something like this?
Oh, again, theirs is fairly newer.
Yeah, and theirs is black and it looks like it's that metal panel.
Yep.
like now we're just naming some of the best restaurants in Albany.
If Cafe Italia can do it.
Old
I think-
Bistro had it.
Yeah.
We've also been down, Old English usually has one during the winter months that's very similar to, I think.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
That's
yeah.
underneath their,
Yeah.
theirs is installed right
And
under their
I think
awning.
Prime may have one too, now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty common, cause
Yeah,
you have to have something to break the wind.
And that's a permanent vestibule. Am I
it's
correct?
permanent, certainly reversible. as
Yeah,
Commissioner mentioned, but yes,
but it'll
permanent.
be year round.
Correct.
This does require, so the awning and the vestibule, the patio space that it does go with the Skinny Pancake is all within the city right of way. So the awning and the vestibule will require an agreement from the city of Albany in order for them to use that space and to permanently affix anything to the patio. So staff, the one condition that we've recommended be placed if you all do issue the certificate of appropriateness this evening is that the applicant receive all necessary agreements and license from the city of Albany to work within the right of way. And then, as John said, once you have the information of how it'll either be anchored into the right of way or attached to the building, that information be provided to the staff.
Have they considered umbrellas for the tables?
That's what they do now. And, I think that certainly works.
Yeah,
I think what they do with like any other restaurant is maybe wind and they want something more permanent.
it seems like it would be easier for them.
So, I think, speaking on behalf of the applicant, the restaurant, the vestibule and the windbreaker are certainly the more important component of this.
Yeah.
And, the canopy is, it'd be nice to have, it's what they want, but, they're not gonna stand here and fight to the death for it.
Have you thought about a softer color than black?
I think they're going with black because that's what's there now, and that's what the other spaces on Pearl Street have, so.
Do you see in the future the possibility of canvas panels coming down, wrapping the two sides?
Potentially, I haven't heard anything about that, but yeah, maybe extending the outdoor dining season. Yeah, and like I said, maybe, maybe it turns into something that doesn't adhere to the building, it's just freestanding on the patio.
Can I speak? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
I'll talk to you later after this one about some technical problems, but thanks, Erin. This feels it was a very confusing application for me also to understand what was existing, what's new, what it all is. And I'm a little bit troubled that even though it's reversible, this 5x5 vestibule, this is really one of the finest buildings on the street. And I'd like to propose that we get a little bit more information on the vestibule itself, because all we really know of what it's going to look like is this image shown in a couple of different perspectives, which, as we just saw the other image from Nicole, it's not quite the same. It's almost like a cartoon drawing, a concept indicating what this will be. And again, it's new and it's reversible, but it's so prominent that I'm concerned that I'm worried if we don't pay a little bit more attention to some of the detailing around it to make sure that it's as light as possible, that it doesn't visually interfere with the appearance of the building and things like that. So again, I found the application confusing, but I don't think this, given the prominence of the location, I don't think this is enough information for me to really understand what it will look like. I mean, all that black, is it like 12 inches at the base? Is it 6 inches on the stiles? What's the door? Some different items such as that. So I'd like to see a better more accurate rendition and or some of the manufacturer's information as to what this will be. I think I've heard everyone speak to its reversibility and its functionality and some positive comments about it going there. But this doesn't give me enough information to understand its visual impact.
You know, I am in agreement with Commissioner Kaplan, because when I looked at it, I thought it was flush with the facade. You know, it'd be good to have some type of drawing which shows side of it, you know, both sides and the front. And more of a perspective of how it would look.
It may just be the manufacturer's cut sheets that,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is described in the proposal with a slightly more detail. Just says, manufactured vestibule wall system with galvanized metal welded to form a rigid, into a rigid form. I think, you know, if they have cut sheets available, that, you know, really describe the components that are being used and how the panel's constructed and the quality of the door. I mean, here it describes it as a storm door, which I understand that functionally, but when I think of storm doors, I think of something of a residential nature, that would not be befitting the facade as significant as this one. And certainly if any thoughts of dropping vertical panels to enclose the seating area were to ever transpire, those would have to come back to the commission for review.
Yeah,
So, no, I'm sorry, go on.
I was just saying, I actually have more questions about the awning, that 15-foot awning, and how that's, what those details are going to look like, especially considering that space and kind of the public nature of where it's gonna be jutting out into. For example, like that pole all the way on the left, you're squaring off something that's at an angle, and then is the awning gonna then go over that corner? Like, so I personally, I would prefer to see maybe bigger umbrellas or something that keeps that doesn't kind of start to take over a more public piece of that courtyard. The vestibule, I think, doesn't personally bother me. You know, I think it's a function of our climate, and I would much rather see the skinny pancake survive and thrive than have a vacant storefront or want to have them move. Because it can be really cold if you're sitting right inside there.
Yeah, the wind blows in pretty fiercely.
Erin, can you switch to the plan? The plan, yeah, great. So is it possible that a smaller awning, because that is a big awning, is it possible that a smaller one that protected those tables that are up close to the building be used, and the other tables provided some protection through the umbrellas that I forgot who else had just mentioned, but that might be a less massive introduction if that achieves your goals. This is all south facing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So so a smaller awning would offer some protection to those tables as well as shade those shade that wall. You
Well,
don't need the full 15 feet for that.
and what we're seeing in this plan isn't what's represented on the rendering we just saw. So this has the awning fully inside of that concrete half wall, and the picture we just saw has it protruding on the outside of the half wall. So I think,
which is,
a
I think, I said this already, I think we're happy to reconsider
Yeah.
the canopy and the awning and the seating area. I think we'll take this feedback on that portion of it. Again, the more important component is the vestibule.
This would have to come back. Yeah, right,
It would,
yeah, okay.
and it would be, the next HRC meeting is on March. The first week of March, so March, it would be March 7th.
Well, I think you've heard the comments from the commission and a little more work and specificity on what we're seeing here. And a plan that coordinates with the imagery that is displayed. Particularly coordination with the garden walls that kind of define that space. And consideration of a shallower canopy on at the face of the building for the first two top tables that are against the building wall, and then consideration of umbrellas. It's probably actually a little less work for you to do that, something like that, and offers a degree of flexibility that this canopy may or may not afford. So again, you hear where we're coming from.
Yes, I appreciate the feedback.
Sorry, this didn't come as a workshop item, and then,
Well,
That's,
another thing to think about, if you reduce the depth of the canopy, that may mean you have to bring the canopy down some, which will interfere with those windows. Because I think you have the canopy attached to the building or up against the building above those windows.
yes.
So when you start reducing that depth, you gotta bring it down, because if you reduce the depth at that same height, you're defeating the purpose of a canopy,
Right.
basically for protection and, daylight, so.
Yeah, and having a perspective from Pearl Street would be really helpful, and we might have been able to solve this tonight if we had a perspective from Pearl Street.
and if you go back to the existing photo, you can see where the windows are. The head of the windows are a little bit above the head of the door opening at the corner.
Yeah, now, the tables up against the building is probably where they would be. You need to lower your canopy to provide shelter or whatever, for those tables along the building. So that alone brings the canopy down, and you don't want the canopy intersecting the windows like that.
Yeah, the canopy in general, I think, just creates some real challenges that you see when you look at these.
yeah, I think, go ahead, Commissioner.
No, I was just wondering what was attached to the building now, was that an old awning or something?
That's actually, I believe, from old signage from Pearl Street Pub was there.
Yeah, I think it was like an electrical conduit
Yeah,
The cut and.
yeah.
they threw on. At one point, like old photos, it's got like string lights coming off of it,
Yeah.
and it's got old signage and other stuff, so.
Would you remove that, Joe?
Yes, that would come down.
Okay.
Okay.
This building's had a lot of fun stuff going on.
It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, very
It's
pretty.
one of the prettiest
Absolutely one
buildings
of
in
my
all.
favorites.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I don't know what they've done to the interior though.
Going.
Have they destroyed it?
No.
It's still
No,
intact?
no,
No,
Still intact?
yeah, we've done a really good job.
My humble opinion, I don't think it's destroyed. I like to think we did an okay job.
The ballroom is, I go into the Kenmore Ballroom, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, but this building here,
Oh,
wasn't this a Y?
This is, yeah.
Yeah, this was the old Y.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's the part I'm talking
So-
about, not the Kenmore.
So above this, the United Way has a co-working space, so so floors 2 and 3 are co-working space for nonprofits. They did a really good job with that.
Oh, okay.
And then the upper floors, 3 through 6 are apartments.
It was a tax credit project, so they
Yes.
couldn't
Yeah.
destroy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And they've done, I mean, all the buildings.
Okay.
That's the United Way's co-working, the name of it's the Blake Annex.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we pretty, off topic. Yeah, I could talk all night about this building.
Is there some sort of storm? I mean, I'm just looking in this photo and the door is recessed. Is there some sort of a panel they could drop that's flush with the building that would give them some storm like more of a true storm door? Or is there not
So I
really
think the doors
space
have to
there?
swing out, that's the issue you're facing there, you need enough room for the existing door
Yeah,
to
that
swing
wouldn't
out.
really work.
You know, I mean, keeping it within the, dimensions of that existing canopy or overhang is kind of the goal.
Yeah, I think you need that much space just to accommodate accessibility
Accessibility,
requirements as well.
Well, it should be as clear as possible.
agreed.
Clear instead of
Yes.
solid,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
The clearer it is, it sort of disappears. And that's less visually intrusive. That's why I like glass.
For sure.
Glass is expensive.
Yeah,
Just
nice.
make things poof.
Well, something of the nature that we're seeing there feels to me like it's more seasonal. That it goes up in the winter and it comes down in the summer.
Right.
So, yeah, something that is a little more permanent and a little more of a, I think, more transparency, as
Yeah.
you're saying, kind of a little jewel box in the corner there,
Yeah.
something done rather simply and elegantly
Mm-hmm.
as a vestibule would be a more successful treatment to the, for the success of the building. You're still building it out on the right of way. Well, do you wanna communicate with Aaron as you make progress or have any questions on this? And
Yeah, I think we've got our marching orders.
see you back in a month?
Yeah, we'll probably get you something back here in the next week or two, submit it to Aaron and staff, and hopefully that's good enough to come back here next month, right?
Do you want, somebody wanna do a motion to defer?
I entertain a motion to defer?
Second.
No,
Oh, I think we
you
have
gotta
to make.
make the motion first.
I'll move to defer to next
Oh, okay,
month,
yeah, let's see if we can do that.
pending more detail on the vestibule construction and perspective from Pearl Street. Detail on the materials that the manufacturer's specifications, some more visuals.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, any,
Wait, comment, did you have configuration of the awning in there, Erin?
Oh,
Would
I
you-
should, sorry, thanks Marilyn,
Just the final, yeah.
right, well, I'm gonna, since I'm making the motion, I'm gonna recommend that you come up with an alternative to this awning that doesn't go more into the public right of way and explore using umbrellas. Come back with something different for the awning. And because of our concerns about drilling into the masonry, the fact that it extends into the right of way on the other side of the wall there. The fact of shortening the awning means that you're probably gonna have to drop it down and go into the window. So we'd like to see some alternatives. I strongly think umbrellas would be a more successful solution. That was a long motion, but.
Aaron's got it all down.
I
That's reflected in the minutes.
know. All right.
Second.
Okay, any discussion from the audience?
No, you've covered everything that I was gonna ask, so you're good.
All right, I'll call it to a vote then. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion is carried. It's deferred until we see more detail and we've had time to chew on it a bit more.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Joe, do you have the application, the tax credit application for this, or the, what you submitted?
I'm sure we have it somewhere in our files.
Okay, if you have a copy of that, I can pass it along.
Took the fire out.
Okay, single-handedly.
Great.
No.
Organize the bucket brigade.
So apologies to all. Aaron, I was sitting on the wait, I sent you an email which told
Yeah,
you. So I don't know, but then the one that was on the calendar, I was sitting there, and then I finally said, oh, this link isn't working, and I went back to what you had sent me separately. So that's why I was late. Sorry, everybody.
it's
Um,
okay.
I have a procedural question. What's been going on as this goes through the city process? The application's dated May of 23.
So this application, they had reached out to us a while ago to just start the discussion. And initially it was just about getting a sidewalk cafe permit for the cafe season to be able to have outdoor seating. And as part of that, they had discussed at that point some sort of awning vestibule. And we had informed them then that they were going to need to come before the commission and get a certificate of appropriateness for that application. I believe I'm not quite sure, but we didn't hear back from them. We never got a submission. I think we only got a cafe submission for what they currently have, which is the tables and the umbrellas. And then recently we got we did finally get an application for the vestibule and the awning. I believe that they may have submitted or gotten funding through the either capitalized Albany for the small business grants. And that's when we officially received an application from them. There was a little bit of a lag in getting them from there to the commission because we were waiting to try to find out if they had any easements or license agreements attached to the deed in order to be using the right of way, because I don't know if you heard in the beginning, Marilyn, the patio area where they're proposing to install everything is actually city right of way. It's not.
Yeah, by the time I got in, I did hear that. Yeah, okay.
So we were trying to figure out what that legal process was before we sent anything on. And so we did confirm that there wasn't anything attached to the deeds, and so they in fact needed to go through the legal process with the city. So once Joe has initiated that process and we decided while that was happening, we would send it to the commission for review.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a little long-winded, but yeah, it's been
So that kind of explains it. I assumed there was something complicated. I didn't know which board it might have gone to first, et cetera, but it was like, wow, that's a long time ago. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the original application appears to be dated May 19th, 23.
Well, and if you look at like the quotes from fourth generation and that information,
that's-
it's even older than that.
It's
so.
even earlier, yeah, okay, all right. Great, okay.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for your input. It's- Actually, I think the lower umbrellas would be more effective in providing the shade that they're looking for. With an awning as high as it is, that they've got, sun is just gonna blast in there anyhow.
Yeah.
Plus, there's some times of the year when you want to be in the sun outside. So
Yeah. In
Right.
May.
it doesn't make sense to me.
Pretty much
Yeah.
due south, but, and, you know, you've got the opening of the street. Really, since you're right at the corner,
Well,
you don't
and
have the
those,
advantage of the building across the street shading it.
and those east to west hill streets are really big wind tunnels sometimes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the maintenance, pull them up, take them down. I think it's better than.
Umbrellas with good heavy cast iron bases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did miss was, is the big awning as proposed, is it operable or is it fixed?
That's fixed.
Fixed.
It's fixed.
That's a lot of snow, isn't it? And ice to sit on that awning at 15 feet?
23 feet wide,
Yeah.
15 feet long.
Yeah. 23 feet long, 15 feet wide, I think is what it said, right? I don't know,
Yeah.
it struck me, wow, that's a lot of weight.
What's the, what are the supports, aluminum? The vertical
I
supports?
think
It's like galvanized
galvanized
steel,
steel
you know,
is
galvanized
what,
pipe, so
yeah, so
fairly hefty tubing
Yeah,
to frame.
so the
whole
frame
thing.
itself would
And
also
there's-
be,
Yeah,
5 of them, so I know, like you could see 3 of them, and I don't know if like the other 2 are up against the building, like they had said, so that.
They're placing that too.
they really can't anchor that canopy to the building. You know, if it was a brick building, you know, you'd have a consistent joint to go by, but
Yeah.
you know, the stones are staggered. The
Huh.
joints are staggered.
yeah.
Yeah.
Umbrellas is the best way to go, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Push for umbrellas.
Little round ones that look just like a crepe.
There you go.
Well done.
Good, I dig that, that's cool.
Just have a bunch of, you know, twirling crepes over each one of those ends.
It's great.
Still alive? Guess we haven't adjourned yet.
Oh, all
The
right.
only one that goes back and watches these.
Okay.
What happened to our South Ferry entry door project?
They missed the legal noticing requirement for January, so we bumped it. I sent them all new information. And they I haven't heard a peep from them since, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. I did wanna do a drive-by just to double check, but, yeah, for a hearing, the applicants are required, legally within the, ordinance, they're required to send out notices to neighbors that are within 250 feet of the property. And we had changed that, staff had been doing it, even though the code all along had stated that it was on the applicant to carry out all the noticing and the postings of the property, because they do have to put, a placard on the building, and we do provide all of that. But they've yet to do it, and they were questioning like why it would be anybody's business that they're making a change to their building, so, which it's legally required, and they're within a historic district, so, and it's required of all 3 boards that any application going for a hearing has to abide by the legal noticing process.
For sure.
But crickets.
No exceptions.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Is there any other matters to come before the commission?
Not at this time. I do know, I think I did just see there's the State Preservation Conference is going to be April, not 21st.
15th,
15th,
so yeah, Monday through Wednesday, the 15th to the 17th
in Rochester. So keep an eye out if anybody would like to go. There will be CLG training attached to it that you all will be invited to apply for, and I'm sure that they'll have the scholarships available. So if anybody does wish to go, I can share that information as we get more of that.
Go to Rochester on the 8th and witness the eclipse.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
John, you're going to Rochester to look at the eclipse?
Well, my wife's sister and brother-in-law live in Rochester,
Perfect.
Yeah.
so we've got a free room. So that works real well. So I've been concerned.
Well, they're saying a lot of places are already booked up, so if you were planning on going
Yeah.
anywhere, making reservations, your chances are very slim.
Why Rochester? Boy, I missed it. Why?
It's in the
More-
path.
It's in the
path of totality.
path of totality. Okay.
For the solar eclipse.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah,
daughter
that's
goes
a
to
lot.
SUNY Geneseo, which is very close to there.
Yeah.
I can go stay at her dorm room.
I'm coming for the weekend.
Otherwise, you can go up to the Adirondacks, like,
Right, I heard that too.
Yeah, there's a
That would be
big
fun.
path right across the middle of the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
Go there and camp out.
it will still be
Swat
snowing,
flies,
but,
yeah, there'll be snow on the ground and they'll be swatting flies.
yeah, I'm just afraid of traffic.
Yeah,
Alright, well,
Alright.
number 14, welding glass.
Great.
I think that's,
Well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Alright.
I
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Bye,
Thank you,
Marilyn.
Marilyn.
just, can you tell me one thing? I'm not there on the screen, like 8 by 8 or anything, am I?
Not when anybody else is in the room.
no,
you're
but
just-
right now you're pretty good.
Oh.
Right now,
2 by 3.
It's about 3 by 2.
just for the.
Oh. Okay,
We're gonna get a bigger screen, so.
I'm coming back. I'll be there in person. I don't want to be on the big screen again. Okay. Goodbye, y'all.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Marilyn.
Enjoy.
Look, we're matches.
Oh my gosh, look at that. If I didn't have the sweater on, we'd be like
I
really
know.
matchy.
Hold on.
Ugh.
Sorry. 2 seconds.